The world went dark after the cross. The sky had wept, the earth had trembled, and then silence. For one long sacred day, heaven seemed quiet. Jesus was in the tomb. Hope looked buried behind a stone, and the hearts of his followers were left in the painful space between promise and fulfillment. We often rush from the sorrow of Friday to the victory of Sunday. But what about the middle? What about the waiting? Holy Saturday is the quiet no one talks about enough. It is the day after heartbreak, the day after prayers seemed unanswered, the day when grief sat heavy in the chest and nothing made sense. The miracles had stopped, the crowds were gone, the teacher was no longer speaking, and the disciples were left with memories, fear, and questions. This is the weight of the middle. This is the silence between loss and restoration. We know this place. We know what it feels like to stand in the middle, between prayer and answer, between heartbreak and healing, between the closed door and the new beginning, between what God promised and what we can actually see. Waiting can feel empty. It can feel like abandonment. It can feel like heaven has gone silent. But Holy Saturday teaches us something sacred. Silence is not absence. Jesus had been laid in the tomb. A heavy stone sealed the entrance. To human eyes, it looked final. The story appeared finished. The light appeared gone. The promise appeared defeated. But what looked like an ending was not the end. What seemed still was not inactive. What seemed buried was not defeated. God was still at work in the silence. We are often tempted to trust only what we can see. But God has always done some of his greatest work in hidden places. Seeds grow in the dark. Roots deepen underground. A child forms in the secret place of the womb. And redemption moved quietly behind the sealed silence of the tomb. Holy Saturday reminds us that unseen does not mean undone. God is moving, even when the room is still. He is working, even when the answer has not yet broken into view. Imagine the sorrow of those who loved him, the women who had followed him, the disciples who had left everything for him, the mother who had watched him suffer. They did not yet know how Sunday would unfold. All they had was grief. All they had was memory. All they had was the aching mystery of not understanding. And yet even there, in confusion and tears, God had not abandoned them. We live in a world that wants immediate answers, immediate healing, immediate clarity, immediate victory. But God is not rushed. He is not threatened by the silence. He is not confused by the delay. Sometimes the waiting itself becomes holy. Sometimes stillness becomes the place where trust grows deeper than sight. Sometimes the silence is where faith learns to breathe. What if the waiting is not wasted? What if the delay is not denial? What if God is doing something in the silence that cannot happen in the noise? Holy Saturday speaks to every weary heart that feels forgotten, to every soul sitting in unanswered prayer, to every life caught in the space between pain and promise. The silence of God is not the absence of God. The stillness of the tomb is not the death of hope. Waiting with God is never empty. And then, quietly, almost imperceptibly, the darkness begins to shift. Night does not last forever. The stone will not remain untouched forever. The grave will not speak the final word. Before resurrection is seen, it is prepared. Before mourning is celebrated, it is born in secret. Before hope rises in full light, it begins as a whisper at the edge of dawn. Maybe you are living in a Holy Saturday season right now. Maybe your prayer feels unanswered. Maybe your heart is tired. Maybe the stone in front of your hope feels too heavy to move. Do not mistake silence for abandonment. Do not mistake delay for defeat. Do not mistake the tomb for the end of the story. God is still present in the stillness. He is still faithful in the waiting. And even now, where you cannot yet see it, resurrection is drawing near. Holy Saturday is the sacred pause, the breath before breakthrough, the stillness before the stone is moved, the silence before the song returns. And because of what came next, we know this truth. God never stopped working, not in the dark, not in the tomb, not in the waiting. So if you are in the middle, stay near him. If you are in the silence, trust him. If you are in the waiting, rest in him. Because the God of resurrection is also the God of the sacred wait. And even when all seems still, his love is moving, his promise is alive, and morning is coming.